And Tony, we're not done. We got 46 minutes of ECW goodness here. We're going to pick up where we left off. It's March 25th, 1996. We're going to watch the very next consecutive episode, and we'll be talking about Big Ass Extreme Bash here in 3, 2, 1, play. And we're seeing house show footage here, the ECW fan cam. This was shot back in the day, probably by Doug Gentry, who worked for rfvideo.com. And they would actually go out and film all of the house shows and then sell them on a VHS. So if you went to this show and you wanted to have a tape of it, you could actually order, which I thought was pretty awesome. Imagine if they had Jim Crockett Promotions house shows on tape that you could go buy, Tony. How great would that have been?
Wouldn't that be tremendous?
Yes.
I think I've told you the story that in the Jim Crockett Promotion days, they would put a camera like Greensboro or Charlotte, one of the big venues, and would show footage of a title change or something like that. And you knew when we would go to Greensboro and we would look up in the concourse area from where we were always ringside. If we saw a camera up there, okay, we thought something big's going to happen. Something big's going to happen. There's a camera. But yeah, you're right. Footage from a house show would have been, I don't think sometimes, and this even happens today. Sometimes the world of wrestling and putting together television shows goes so quickly because you've got to put together one weekly. And now for us, it's 3 weekly, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it goes so fast. Sometimes we do not we just not take the moment to slow down and think about, hey, what else can we do? Right? What else can we do? And I think back then, if we'd have sat down, we'd have thought, hey, why don't we record the house shows and sell them on VHS?
Right.
Wouldn't that have been a good idea? And I think that sometimes that there's so much more that we can do in pro wrestling today.
Yes.
With the internet, that we just don't take the time to think about it. And I've got my week is, and here's the great Joey Styles talking right now. My week is, let's just start on Monday. Monday, there's doing the control centers and also doing some voiceovers on internet. And then Tuesdays, I've got this. And Wednesdays, I'm traveling. And Thursdays, I'm traveling. And also Thursdays, I'm writing copy. And then on Friday, I'm recording another control center. And then I travel on Saturday mornings and I'm back on Sunday. And by the time I get back on Sunday, I ain't worth fuck. And I do a lot of sleeping on Sundays. So my week goes by. I got so much it goes by so fast. Sometimes I ought to just stop and say, okay, fuck this. Let's come up with something different. Let's come up with an idea. And it's just not done. We don't do enough of that. I think they were doing a lot of that back then. And here's Cactus Jack.
This is his last. Bob Ortiz is the ring announcer, and he's announcing to the crowd, making his final appearance in the ECW arena, Cactus Jack. And man, the entire crowd gives him a standing ovation.
Yeah.
Mikey Whipwreck, of course, was his tag team partner. They won the ECW tag team titles together here in ECW. His final match is going to be against Mikey Whipwreck, and the crowd is chanting for Jack. It's pretty cool, the respect that these hardcore fans have for Cactus Jack. Now, they're not going to show the full match here, Tony, because they're trying to get you to order the VHS, because this is before ECW has pay-per-views. Mm-hmm. So they would run these shows that was like a pay-per-view, and that they would name it and put together a big card and they would promote it. But really, once the 1,100 seats or whatever it was in the ECW arena was sold out, they would just sell the VHS. And so they would run commercials during the TV, watch the unedited entire show. When you send a check to this address, blah, blah, blah. And we just saw Mikey Whipwreck go sailing over the top rope onto the table
and bounce off of it.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, Mikey obviously worked for God, that table won't break, dude.
No, that's the Botchamania I am the table.
Yeah. So Mikey obviously has worked for WCW, got to work with him a little bit there, and he's also now known as and has been known as a pretty good trainer.
Yes,
as well.
ask the SATs.
Mm.
Yeah,
SAT.
big match here for Mikey Whipwreck in his career because he's wrestling an already beloved legend, and Cactus is wearing a shirt that says on the back, "Bang bang, he's dead." Because this is really what he thought was going to be his last time wrestling as Cactus Jack. Like, yes, he signed the WWF deal, but they understood I'm not going to get to keep that name. They're going to do something else with me. He knows what the mask looks like. He knows all of that jazz. He's going to debut the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania. So it's all lined up for him to go do that. But he's still out here taking all these brutal chair shots and all this punishment. All the while, he's got a signed contract with the WWE. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. He took 5 chair shots to the head there.
Yes.
You can't tell me he didn't have a concussion. There's
And a suplex
absolutely
on the floor. Like, I mean, he's I'm just saying, normally when a guy gets a big contract like this, especially in
yeah,
this era, to go work with the WWF, because it's
yeah,
not guaranteed money. All he's guaranteed is an opportunity.
right.
You damn sure don't go, damn the torpedoes and risk injury before you
Yeah.
have a chance to make your first impression
No, no, you
the
don't.
boss.
Unless you're Cactus Jack.
Unless you're Cactus Jack, and then it's just what you do.
That's what you do. Oh man.
Matter of fact, I think he's wearing his Mankind boots right there.
Wow.
I loved his old leopard boots.
Yeah. In a fucking category by himself. Really.
No doubt. Hey, what do you make of him talking about, teasing, thinking about doing one last match for his 60th birthday next year?
Well, I think he's crazy, but I've always thought that.
Yeah,
But yeah, I would like to be there to see that. Be on hand. Not be a part of the show, but just be on hand to see it, to honor him.
I for one think it would be cool if his last match was in the ECW arena.
Yeah. That would be cool.
I
So
mean,
he is teasing, or he's talking about that?
yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's really going to do it. I mean, I
Right.
think he's explained that he needs motivation to drop some weight and get in better shape,
Yeah.
and the motivation, can't just be to look better or feel better. Yes, that is the goal at the end, but he could drop weight and get himself motivated and focused on wrestling. So if he was going to come back for quote unquote one last match, he could get himself in motivated to get in shape to do that.